Thank you for watching this crop update for the Farm Advisory Service. I'm Fiona Burnett from SRUC. And as ever, really the issues that we're seeing in crops at the minute are driven by weather. So probably of most note in spring barleys, people are really struggling with the amount of secondary green tillers that we're seeing in crops. So they've come about really as a result of that. We had that dry period after we drilled spring barley, fertiliser lying on the surface, and then that rainfall that came at the end of May and into June, where that fertiliser became available and those secondary tillers came through. And that greening is really, it's about 30 to 70% of the crops, and it's making decisions about when to desiccate or harvest crops really quite difficult. And if those secondary green tillers are making up the majority of the crop, then waiting until they are effectively at the right stage to burn off is probably an option, but it does mean that the primary crop, that initial crop, is suffering some shedding and brackling. And conversely, if the secondary tillers are the minority of the crop, then just going with the maturity of the primary crop is the way to go. But really every crop needs to be walked separately at the minute and those decisions made. Also in spring barley we're seeing quite a lot of splitting this year, so that's where the grain splits and it affects how evenly it germinates in the malting process. And we know that wetting and drying repeatedly over the summer is one of the risk factors in seeing a lot of splitting, so it's not surprising that that's an issue this year. In oilseed rape, the crop for 2024 harvest is going in now into quite good conditions, so what's gone in is emerging well, but again as a result of the wet summer we predict that quite a lot of slugs will be about, so baiting fields and treating appropriately is sensible. We're some way off treating for light leaf spot, that will come later in the autumn, but again a warm and a wet summer period is one of the risk factors in driving light leaf spots, so potentially a slightly enhanced risk there. For the rest of the harvest, winter wheat harvest ongoing as we're filming, and we've got issues there with quality and yield, but actually probably not as bad as people were fearing, so not a record harvest, but okay. But variable. And then for potatoes, again that warm and wet, we're now in that kind of key period of blight risk. Blight is about in commercial crops, but that's not unusual for this point in the season. So we're really into that phase of blight programs where it's keeping them tight and preventing that jump into it being a problem for the tubers. So maintaining blight sprays right up until the haulm is completely gone.